What's up everyone, it's Mekelkasanova coming to you with yet another banging video, and it's been such a long time since I've done a video, roughly about a week or so, but I'm back with a new one, and I gotta give a big shout out to FDG Entertainment for giving me a review code of Blossom Tales for the Nintendo Switch, and man, is this game I love it. I'm a big fan of Zelda. I started back with the original back in 1986, all the way up to the latest one, Breath of the Wild. Played every single one of them. Loved every bit of it, and I'm just happy that this came out. This is so phenomenal. This game takes everything that's great about that series and just takes it up a notch with a lot of originality, creativity thrown in it to make such an amazing package. So thank you, FDG, for sending me a review code and allowing me the amazing opportunity to just, review this game. And I hope you guys sit through and enjoy this video. And if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. That way you stay up to date on all the greatest and latest and greatest content that comes from this channel. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get right into this video and roll the intro music.
Next generation of great, I'm the next generation of great. I'm the next generation of great, the next generation of great.
Blossom's Tales: The Sleeping King is reminiscent to the old-style Zelda games of the SNES and NES eras, and the story seems to borrow and pay homage to some of the classic fantasies too. I'm a huge fan of the classic 2D Zelda formula, and Blossom's Tale undoubtedly takes that formula and runs wild with it, as Hulk Hogan would say. It's one thing to use a template from a classic game that everyone loves, but it's another thing to successfully capture what made it such a beloved series and game in the first place. And Blossom's Tale takes this formula and just takes it to a whole new stratosphere. The story of Blossom Tales opens with two young children, Chris and Lily, asking their grandfather to tell them a story. At first, he starts to tell us a story that sounds a lot like Zelda, until the kids complain that they've already heard that story, and that they would like to hear a new one. Their grandfather then begins to tell them a story of a young girl named Lily, our young hero, who is sent out into the world to gather the ingredients for a potion to awaken and heal her alien king and save the kingdom from the king's evil brother. The story, as it's narrated by the grandfather, they hold and hang on to his every word, and they take an active part in the narration. This is an effective way to frame and direct a story, and it's done so well that a large part of myself just got attached to the game and the characters even more as the game progressed. There are also moments when the two children will argue over what they think should happen next, and this is the active narration part that I was speaking about. So their grandfather gives the player the opportunity to choose. One such example is early on in the game when the two children argue over whether Lily should fight against the archers or the golems. I really like these moments, even if none of the choices have an actual impact on the overall story. I think it's really cool to have that in there. Possibly the best part of Blossom's Tale to me was his music. So much of it was stuck in my head throughout the past few days I've been playing it. Most notably the track from the town you start off in, as well as the cave theme and the first dungeon theme, and the Town of Druids theme, which has a play on Zelda's lullaby to it. All of it sounds like classic 8 to 16-bit music, which manages to capture what made those classic tunes so memorable in the first place. These are definitely some tunes I will be coming back to repeatedly in the future. Now when it comes to gameplay, Blossom Tales feels a lot like a traditional Zelda experience, specifically A Link to the Past and Link's Awakening. You'll explore a decently sized world, exploring all sorts of secret caves to find 4 heart pieces and increase your maximum health. In addition to these heart pieces, you can also collect 4 special green crystals to increase your magic power. Finding these items scattered throughout the overworld isn't too different or difficult. As long as you actually explore each section of the world, you more than likely will not have a problem finding where these upgrades are located. And once you actually do find them, you'll usually have to solve a fairly easy puzzle. If you've played any of the conventional 2D Zelda games, that's essentially what you're getting as far as gameplay is concerned. But the general feel of the graphics and the map remind me so much of A Link to the Past. You start with a sword and shield and get various extra tools, all of which you have 3 slots to equip in. There are various secrets to find and quests to undertake, and dungeons which mix combat and puzzle solving. So far, I have bombs and a bow and arrow from the first and second dungeons respectively. They're generally used for what you'd expect. So if you see a crack in the wall, use the bomb. And if you see a bullseye or a faraway switch, or if you need to light up a set of torches or torch pedestals that need to catch fire, then you use a bow. Instead of having ammo for stuff that would take it and a magic bar for everything else though, like say A Link to the Past did, Blossom Tales has them all use an energy bar. I feel like they were thinking that way you wouldn't run out of bombs, arrows, and whatnot and have to go grind for more. The first boss required using 2 things. That would have been ammo in a Zelda game, and maybe him dropping items was tricky to code. But having everything take energy from one source means a lot of the time I found myself standing around waiting for it to recharge, since there were a lot of puzzles that needed your items. It's not really a minor or major thing to me, it just is what it is. On the flip side though, this does mean you can freely use them on normal enemies, without worrying about needing ammo later, which is more interesting than just using your sword. You can also find extensions to the bar, much like you can your health, as I talked about earlier, the 4 green crystals. Now, there is a total of 5 dungeons in Blossom's Tales, one of which is a short tutorial. The remaining 4 dungeons are fairly straightforward and linear, but they are fun to traverse through, and each dungeon has its own specific visual theme, ranging from forests to fiery caverns. Despite being fairly straightforward, each dungeon still takes a good amount of time to complete thanks to their length. Each dungeon also has a mini boss as well as a major boss, and they usually take around 45 minutes to an hour to get through. Thankfully, the developers placed teleporters at both the halfway point and before the boss fight to reduce backtracking in case of death or restocking items. I do wish there were more dungeons, as I really did have a lot of fun exploring them, but what's here is solid. The boss fights themselves are pretty fun, nothing too hard, but engaging enough. The bosses do take a fair amount of hits to defeat, and they often can be defeated by just trading blows with them. So if you want to throw hands, go ahead and throw hands at them. Since the game is very generous with its distribution of healing potions and auto-revive items, to have fun with it. The bosses are, in my opinion again, really fun to fight. I think my favorite boss fight was against a giant rock golem with 2 arms. You'll need to dodge around falling rocks, eye lasers, and his hands until his mouth opens. Once his mouth is open, you can throw your bomb inside and then quickly shoot an arrow at his exposed forehead jewel. Visually, the game is very pretty and colorful. The pixel art style is well defined, while nice lighting and shading help make environments look more detailed, interesting, and fun to explore. Level design itself is also strong, creating some nice and varied locations around the world, and these areas include lush forests, snow-covered mountains full of graveyards and zombies, and much more. Visual design is one of Blossom Tales' biggest strengths. Overall, I've had some fun with the Blossom's Tale. It's unabashedly Zelda, but I found it a good recreation, one with tons of effort put into it, and if you're looking for something new in it that also manages to capture what made the series so beloved in the first place, Blossom's Tale is that game for you. It may not be a very long game, it may not be a very difficult game, and clocking in about 8.5 hours for me, but the entire ride was a lighthearted blast, and for only about $15 or so, it's really hard not to recommend Blossom Tales, as it's absolutely worth your time and money. And this game gets the Kasanova seal of approval. Go out, buy this game, support FDG Entertainment, because we need a Blossom's Tales too. I'm just saying. And with that being said, this is Mekel Kasanova wrapping up this video review of Blossom Tale for the Nintendo Switch. It's also available on PC, so if you guys want, you can go on Steam and find it. I'll leave a link to FDG Entertainment's website down below. And hey, I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. I thoroughly enjoyed this game. It's been a blast to play. And I hope this becomes a regular entry, regular series that we can expect sequels from, because there's a lot that they can build on, a lot that can be done with this, and I'm really happy with it. So again, FTG Entertainment, thank you guys for sending me the review code, and for y'all for sitting through it and watching and enjoying this video, hopefully. If you liked it, give us a thumbs up, and if you didn't, give us a thumbs down. But hey, your prerogative on what you do. So I'll catch you guys on the next one. Christmas is right around the corner, so big giveaway coming. So if you haven't already, enter any of the giveaways I have. 3 Nintendo Switches, 2 Xbox One X's, PS4 Pros, SNES Classic, you name them, I'm giving them away. So that being said, I catch y'all on the next one. Deuces wow, too sweet, and I'll see you.
The spotlight, girl, you demand all the attention. Starry-eyed, maybe I need a new prescription. I see you on top of me, I'm having visions. While you spin it around, I'm getting dizzy, baby. Drop and roll.